Hello everyone, welcome back to the Rail Starfighter, and today we will be putting the B-Wing pilots into a tier list, including the contents from the Phoenix Cell pack. This is my tier criteria. Tier 3 ships are usually filler ships. You don't really want to put them into a list, but if you have the ability to, and they fill it out, that's when you put them in. Tier 2 pilots have a one-trick pony type of ability. They usually get it off maybe once or twice in a game, and you feel special about it, but it doesn't do anything great for your list. And Tier 1 pilots have an ability that shows strong independency, it's reliable throughout the game, and it can perform multiple roles in your list. And then a Tier 0 pilot will be an absolute game changer, can win the day from start to finish all on its own. So for Tier 3 in the B-Wing, we don't have any Tier 3s. That's because the B-Wing is a solid damage dealer, and all the pilots are very good at that role. And because it fulfills that role so well, it already puts itself into a different tier. I think the B-Wing is the cornerstone of the aggro ship in the Rebel Alliance, and all the B-Wings perform that role well. And I also believe that if you're putting a B-Wing in your list, you are choosing to put the B-Wing in your list. It is not a ship you use as a filler type ship. So starting off with Tier 2, I'm going to put the Blue Squadron pilot and the Blade Squadron veteran right next to each other. The only thing that makes the Blade Squadron veteran higher than the Blue Squadron is the Initiative 3. But like I said, the B-Wing is designed to be an efficient damage dealer, and having 2 or 3 of these in a list on their own is very powerful. They do need the support to make them even more deadly, but I think the 2 generics do a good job of being straight up damage dealers. The first name pilot we have is Gina Moonsong. Now, Gina's ability is great with other B-Wings. I think if you flew like a 3 B-Wing list, I think she's very powerful for that, because the other B-Wings like being stressed, as we will see in a moment. And being at 0 to 2 for her ability is also pretty widespread, because you want to make sure you have the ability to barrel roll and do other things for your list. I think Gina and 10 would be a great combo, because you're basically giving 10 another token, and we'll get to that in a second. But Gina is really a B-Wing support ship in a B-Wing. And then Harrison Dula is at the top of our Tier 2. She is in Initiative 6, and I do recognize that, but I don't think her ability is as strong on the B-Wing as it is on the A-Wing. For one thing, she's able to pass evade tokens, and the B-Wing does not naturally have an evade token. The B-Wing only has focus and target lock, and you have to put on the configuration card, flip the configuration card to get that evade, and then you have to be able to pass it. Like I said, I think her ability is great for supporting other ships and playing a leadership role, and I think she plays that role better in an A-Wing rather than a B-Wing. So I like her ability, but I think in a B-Wing she is a Tier 2 ship and a Tier 2 pilot. Starting off at Tier 1, we're going to go with Netrum Pollard. Now, I was shocked with myself, and I actually put Netrum in a Tier 3 category at first until I played them. I usually put all the pilots into a tier as soon as I read their ability, and usually after I play them once or twice, I usually have a good idea where they're going to be in practicality. And Netrum was that comeback kid who, when I use his ability to do the barrel roll and then take the stress token to flip myself around, when I learned I can use it on myself, I immediately giggled, because it allows me to put more pressure on my opponent faster. One of the hard things with the B-Wing is turning around, especially since they like to be stressed. They usually have to spend a turn or two trying to turn back around and do like the focus barrel roll, just trying to get those angles back right. But with Netrum, it opens up your ability to do that 3 forward that the B-Wing has that's blue. So you do that 3 forward that's blue, and then you do the barrel roll and you take the stress, and you already are turned around, you're ready for the next round of engagement, and you just get a free naked shot on your opponent. Now, it is a naked dice shot, but I like the idea of being able to keep pressure on my opponent, because it makes them have to think more and have to spend more resources, and it puts just great pressure on them. And I think Netrum is really good for that role, to pressure on your opponent. And then right in the middle of Tier 1, we have 10 Nub. 10 Nub is great because he uses stress tokens as focus tokens. It turns a negative thing about X-Wing into a very positive thing. Not only that, but it helps with removal. It opens up your dial a lot more when you remove that stress token. And because you can use it on offense and defense, it's really easy to get rid of. And I know he's Initiative 4, but with that Initiative 4 being there, it just guarantees that he's able to use he has something for offense and he has something for defense. So 10 Nub is an absolute awesome, solid tier 1 ship, and I love him to pieces. At the top of tier 1, we have Braylon Strom. Now, there's this huge debate between a lot of Rebel players and even some X-Wing players on who's the better B-Wing top pilot, and that is between Braylon and 10. There's just a huge debate between that, and a lot of people argue about it. Some people put 10, some people put Braylon. I put Braylon at the top because I think rerolls are more powerful than tokens, especially focus tokens, because you need that eyeball result and you need to have them in order to use them. But with Braylon, at least if I'm getting shot at multiple times, I can always, as long as I have that stress token, I'm able to re-roll as many times as I get shot just because I have that stress token. So with the ability to re-roll as many times as I need it for when I defend is really good. Now, you don't get multiple re-rolls per attack, but just the ability to re-roll a result you don't need on multiple attacks is really good. It also makes your attack more consistent, and you can go all out on offense, and at least you have something for defense. And that's what I like the most about Braylon's ability. And again, he's higher than 10 because I believe that rerolls are stronger than tokens. And for tier 0, we don't have any B-Wings. Like I said, the B-Wing is a very solid ship in and of itself, and all the pilots do the role that the B-Wing is designed to do very well, and that role is to be an aggressive ship. I don't think there's a B-Wing that can start and finish a game all on its own because of the 1 green die. The 1 agility really hurts its ability to survive. Like, it does a very good job of removing ships off the board, but when you're trying to turn back around and maintain pressure and dogfight with other ships, I think it's very hard for it to successfully go into turn 2, turn 3, and by the time it's turned around, it's either destroyed or about to be destroyed, and the aces just make very short work of the B-Wing. I think the B-Wing is very good against a large ship meta. I think if you have a large ship meta in your area, then I would fly B-Wings for every game because the B-Wing is very good against large ships. Against other aces, I just don't think it's very powerful other than round 1. I think round 1 will be really great, but you need to get the right setup for it and you need to make sure you do enough damage that ace has to really be careful about pursuing and attacking you. So just a quick recap of my tier list. We only have tier 2 at the bottom and tier 1 on top. There are no tier 3s and no tier 1s, but that is a testament to how great the B-Wing is. I think the B-Wing is a very solid ship. It's great against large ships. I think it's great for Epic. I think an Epic play, with that becoming a little bit more popular now, I think that is where we're going to see a lot more of our B-Wings. I think it will make short work of capital ships like the Raider, and I think we're just going to see a lot more of those in Epic as opposed to standard dogfight. I do think a lot of their abilities are a lot better as opposed to other ships that just have pilots with abilities that are absolutely random. I think all their pilot abilities make being a B-Wing a lot better. That's why I love so much about them, with the exception of Hera. I think Hera, again, I think she's a great pilot ability, just not as good in the B-Wing as she is in the A-Wing, hence why she's tier 2. But for everyone else, they make being a B-Wing worth it. They make it worth their cost. They make it worth having the 1 green die. It's just unfortunate that from start to finish, they couldn't finish a game on their own. I think they could finish off a game, but there needs to be just a lot of certain setup for it. But again, the B-Wing is a very strong ship, very solid. If you're going to put it in your list, make sure you make that decision beforehand and you build around it to make it the most deadliest attacker on the board. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. If this video helps you out, share it with a friend. This place crawls, and remember to always check your 6.